Hello everybody, I am here bringing you another video on the Lee Williams Kickstop Adventurer Tanto. This is a knife that I've kind of been looking for a long time here, so let's talk about it. So back in 2017, 2018, I started getting out of custom knives and into just other hobbies, and I saw this pop up on probably Instagram, and I got a photo of it. The only reason I think it's the same one is because the like double bubble here in the Damascus is really similar to the photo. Obviously the carbon fiber and scales and copper pivot rings all look the same as well. And at the time I was getting out of custom knives, so I didn't end up looking to buy it or chase it or anything, but I had purchased Lee Williams knives before, so I knew what they were all about. I had a Kickstop window frame donk, which I'll try and put a photo of here. And like I said, this one looked pretty similar to a photo I had in 2018, which I'll try and also paste in here so you can kind of see the comparison. So fast forward years and years and years, I'm slowly starting to get back into knives. I had purchased a few other knives, and this one ended up coming out at a dealer that I regularly shop at, and I purchased it immediately without thinking about it. So luckily it's a Lee Williams, so you know what to get out of these. I think Lee Williams' claim to fame is his Kickstop feature, which basically means that there's no flipper tab at the bottom when you deploy the knife. So as you can see, the flipper tab is kind of a free moving of the blade. It's an individual component compared to the blade. And basically when the knife is closed, the Kickstop grabs the back of the blade and flicks it open against the detent, just like a normal knife. But when the knife is open, the Kickstop kind of sits back into its pocket there, and the blade snaps closed and uses it as a stop. And you can kind of see here, it's kind of tough to see. Let's see if I can get a little light in there. You can kind of see in there the pockets for the Kickstop there. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You can also see the bearings in there. This knife is on bearings. And so yeah, his Kickstop feature is super famous. This knife is crazy smooth. It's just like all the other Lee Williams I've ever handled, which are top notch. I believe this is a Damascus reptile or reptilian pattern. I'm not a Damascus expert, so I could be wrong on that, but that's what it reminded me of. I don't remember it being in the posting what it was. And you can tell it's Damascus because the top pattern there is like even, and there's not like one single defined line. So I have another San Mai knife to show you. For example, this is a Dalibor Bergam unnamed here. And you can tell it's San Mai because it has that center line that kind of runs all the way through it. So they kind of both use like a forge welding process, but San Mai, Damascus. We'll get this out of the way here for a second. I'll just set this off to the side. So yeah, let's keep kind of walking around the knife here. This is a Tanto, although the Tanto is pretty slopey, so it's not super aggressive, although the tip is respectably beefy. I am not going to pry on this knife or stab it through metal or anything like that, so it probably doesn't need to be that, but it's a cool style for me. It's got this nice long top swedge here, which gets you a good look at. And yeah. It's a nice blade geometry. It's about 3.5 inches long with a little bit less cutting edge on it. But that's a good, like I say, medium sized knife. It's got these carbon fiber, I'm going to call them scales, over these blue liners slash frames. And I'm going to call this a frame lock because the scales kind of sit over the frame of the knife, which the frame is what's used for the action on this. But you may be able to call it a liner lock too. I don't know, it kind of sits in the middle with that. I'm not sure what Lee calls it. But the frames also have this like silver finishing. They're kind of a satin polish, or high satin or low polish frames, and that's kind of offers contrast to the blue outsides. And then it's got this nice orange peeled, I think it's titanium backspacer. I prefer backspacers over standoffs, just as a personal thing. I think they're slightly more artistic, and they advertise the knife a little bit better. It's got a zirconium pocket clip. It's got kind of an orange peel finish on it here. Maybe I'll get you a nice close-up on the orange peel of the backspacer. And then it's got these copper pivot collars, and it's using Torx hardware on there. And you can see the other side there. So yeah, like I was saying, I swooped it up, and I am really glad to have this piece in my collection. It kicks out great. The action on Lee Williams is awesome. I don't mind flipper tabs that stick out the bottom. Like for instance, let me get out another piece here to look at. This is a TJ Fisher lash, and as you can see, the flipper tab kind of sticks out the bottom, but like I said, this doesn't really bother me. So it's cool that it has that feature, but it's not like a super make or break to me. A little bit more about Lee Williams. His work has kind of like come a little bit down in price, primarily because he has started to collaborate with Chinese companies like Riot. I think it's Riot, but there's a few of them out there that are producing high quality production knives. Not going to get into the politics of Chinese manufacturing, but I'm sure everybody already has an opinion if you made it this far. This is a knife similar to those, although this does not have a kickstop. This is like a Ramon Chavez design, which you can kind of tell based on the clip. And so like the action on these is good, but the action on these is not like Lee Williams good. However, when I was first shopping for Lee Williams knives, his knives were very, very, very expensive, and they were very, very hard to get. Now, because he started putting licensing or production rights into the hands of some Chinese manufacturers, I think these have come down in value a little bit. They're still very expensive. Don't think you're going to skirt by and pick these up for, $900 or anything. That's fiction. But before, like, I'd say they've come down like 25, 30% compared to what they used to be, which means that they're more accessible for me. I like that. The Chinese knives are certainly not quite as well built, and like this one has a slightly cheaper manufacturing to it, but yeah, I guess that's just a pro to distributing some of your manufacturing, your designs out to other companies, is that it becomes more accessible. Other knife makers and knives that have happened have had similar things happen to them would be like maybe GTC knives. I know he did a production with ZT, and I think that's pulled the price down on some of his stuff, whereas it used to be really hard to get. Now I think I can find GTCs more readily, although his knives are also still expensive, but I'd say it's like a similar commonality. So yeah, this is a great knife. The action on it is phenomenal, and I'm really pleased to have it in my collection. I do carry it. It's pretty light and slim to carry. It's a good size. It fits in, trousers pockets, or obviously it'll fit in jeans and anything like that. But I'll do my usual size comparisons. I'm gonna pull the customs out of the frame here because they're not good comparisons, as they're also kind of hard to get. But if I pull up my usual comparisons here, I'm going to start with my Benchmade 940, and we're going to put it up here. We'll call it close to pivot, but I'm sure we're a little off. The blade length on these is pretty close. The Lee Williams handle is maybe a touch longer here, but I think the contouring here is probably like what makes the most difference. Like, the Benchmade is contoured with kind of these machine pockets, but the Lee Williams is like, it's got contouring both this way, and it's got contouring this way, so it fits pretty round in the hand. It doesn't have any like jimping or anything. I wouldn't consider it a super hard use knife or design, not only because the Damascus is not like, this is not a material you tend to beat on, because refinishing it's kind of a hassle, but it also doesn't have any like jimping across the top. You have a little bit of jimping, like you can feel the flipper tab here, but like when you're actually cutting, you're up here. And obviously no jimping on the like backspace or anything. You can reverse grip it, but I don't see why you would be doing that. There are no hot spots or anything in the hand. and yeah, it's easy to carry, it's easy to use. And I think the action, the overall package, just everything that comes together in Lee Williams knives definitely makes them worth buying and holding on to. I'm not sure what their like investment long-term outlook looks like, because like I said, since he's been working with production companies, you know, that tends to not do the custom pieces a lot of favors, in my opinion. But I don't think most people out here buying knives like these are looking to keep them as long-term investments, right? It's not like a stock or something like that. But yeah, the action drops free really well. There's pretty much no way to be trying to flip this knife without, or there's no way to try and deploy this knife without getting it to flip. Like, just the way the tab geometry is done, it's a little bit above the pivot, but when you grab onto it, it just flies out. And I like that a lot. So yeah, super pleased to have this in the collection. I've been really enjoying carrying it. It's come with me to quite a few adventurer Tanto. Just hilarious. So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed this short look at this, and certainly let me know if you have any questions. Check me out on Instagram. I'll continue to post more photos of this as it carries with me. So thanks everybody.